between the shits. Tell me now, what's your name, baby girl? Before I do what I do, dive deep inside of you. Don't be scared, all I want you is to feel satisfied. And you wonder how we got here. Got the cheat code to your body. I 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 guess I had to use a cheat code on ya. The way you were dancing got the best of me. I guess I had to use a cheat code on ya. The way you were dancing got the best of me. It is nice and slow, passion flows, my body sweat as we dance. Love shopping is that's our thing. A few moments ago it was a kiss on bad dance. Don't be scared, all I want you to do is to feel satisfied. And you wonder how we got here. The cheat code of your body. Get the cheat code of your body. I got the cheat code of your body. I usually while we were dancing this samba. I guess I had to use the cheat code on ya. Oh yeah. The way you were dancing got the best of me. Honey, honey. I guess I had to use the cheat code on ya. Let me go deep inside. Oh, the way you were dancing got the best of me. The best of me.
Malcolm Beats.
Yeah. I got the cheat code to your body. I got the cheat code to your body. Let's make love. Let's make love. I got the cheat code to your body. Baby girl, baby girl. I got the cheat code to your body. I guess I had to use the cheat code on ya. Oh yeah, the way you were dancing got the best of me. The way you were dancing got the best of me. I guess I had to use the cheat code on ya. The way you were dancing got the best of me. Baby, are you gonna tell me your name?
Yo, mic check. Welcome to Club Shada episode 2. Listen, my brain melt after COVID. 313, 313. That's a lot of episodes. But yeah, we've been working. I hope everybody's doing great. I hope everybody had a great beginning of the week. Everything is good here, still in moving mode. So I'm constantly between two houses. My son is going to the club with his friends. Don't come back at
Hello.
Don't come back at 8 a.m.
Okay.
with no clothes. Anyway, as I was saying, between two houses, and listen, when I moved to Portugal, and this is gonna be a good conversation with our guest. When I moved to Portugal, actually, I felt rich. I was making, I would say, 10 times, 7 times less money per month. And I felt so rich here compared to Paris. And now I make so much more money, and damn, it's like, why am I spending all this money to move? I was like, what happened? What happened in this country? Well, listen. Success is what happened. I hope everybody's doing good. This show is brought to you by Shada. I'm wearing the Fuck Fake Love t-shirt from Shada. You can get it at shadaware.com. Thanks to the Stream Royalty Master Electronic with a $25 donation for this month, and to all our sponsors. I have a guest for you tonight. It's been a long time I didn't have a guest, so I was like, yo, time to have some guests and have some conversations with everybody. As always, tell me what time it is, where you're watching from, put the flag of the country where you're watching from, and what time it is. Here in Lisbon, it is midnight and 38. And without further ado, let me make sure the music doesn't stop while we're talking. And without further ado, let me bring our guest, Mr. Stefan O'Regan. That's how you say it?
Stephen. But I'll take Stefan. I'll take Stefan. Stefan is fine for me.
Well, yeah,
Stefan sounds kind of like French or Swedish, and they're good-looking people, so I'll take French or Swedish. But I'm actually Irish.
So, were you born in Ireland?
I was born in Ireland. Yeah, I was born in Ireland.
Wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
1983.
So, Northern or
Southern Ireland. I was
Southern
born in
Ireland.
the west coast of Ireland. I think my parents were just passing through a place called Sligo. It's most famous for a cheesy boy band coming from there called Westlife.
Oh, okay.
If anybody's listening who knows Westlife.
Which one is the one that is part of the UK?
Okay, so Northern Ireland. All right, a quick history lesson for anybody
Yes.
that's got any interest, and a very quick history lesson. Well,
Yes.
Ireland got its independence from the United Kingdom in 1916, 1921.
Okay.
You can debate those two dates. And we were a very, very small island, Ireland is. And when we got our independence from the UK said, listen, we'll give you your independence, but on one condition. And the condition is that we're actually going to hold on to part of your land, which is the north of Ireland. And that divided the nation and led to a lot of trouble over the last 100 years.
Lord.
But whatever, it's, we had a lot of trouble, but we're kind of over it now, although Brexit is presenting its own problems.
So your part is
That was a very quick history lesson.
It was a good condensed. So your part is not part of the UK. You are independent. It's the northern one, but you still
Yeah. So technically, like where I'm from is known as the Republic of Ireland.
okay.
And Northern Ireland is up the north. So the whole island of Ireland has a population now of probably about 5 million, and Southern Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, probably makes up about 4 million of that. That's a guess.
Where does Apple has Cork is in the
Yeah. So Ireland was very, very poor in the 80s.
Okay.
Everybody left the country, went everywhere, all over the world. The Irish are great at going all over the world and staying there. But we had a prime minister in Ireland in the 80s, and he decided to create all these tax incentives to get like American companies into Ireland. And so companies like Apple and the Ford, I think. Yeah,
Oh, a
they
lot of
came
them.
to Ireland and opened up their operations. But also, more interestingly, at the turn of the end of the 80s and turn of the 90s, they made a lot of major movies in Ireland because there was tax credits for Hollywood film productions and stuff. So movies like Braveheart and Saving Private Ryan and even
Yes.
a lot of animated movies as well, like An American Tail and All Dogs Go to Heaven and stuff were made in Ireland at that time.
Interesting.
Yeah. There you
Wow.
go.
So, is this a country of artists?
Ireland, well, I think listen, every country I think likes to think that they've got the best songwriters and storytellers and stuff. But Ireland, we really like to think that we've got the best storytellers and singer-songwriters and stuff. But we have got so many legendary writers, especially considering it's such a small island and such a a small. Well, it's obviously we spread our wings all around the world. But we're very proud of our writers and our musicians, and yeah.
So, how many artists are there in your family?
Well, my family personally, well, I'm the oldest of four brothers.
Oh, so
And
brothers, only brothers?
only brothers. My mother kept on trying to have a daughter, and it didn't work out.
Hey, well.
But I was an only child for 10 years, and then she started trying to have a daughter, and
wow.
she failed and failed and failed again, and then she gave up. But yeah,
Wow.
I don't know why we were all inflicted with a kind of wannabe artist makeup. So when I gave up on my football ambitions at about 16, I decided I wanted to become a filmmaker. And then when my next brother came along, he actually became a musician, and he's in a fairly well-renowned band in Ireland who've actually toured around the world, and they're called Soda Blonde. Shout out to Soda Blonde. They've got a great single, and their new album is coming out.
Soda Blonde.
Soda Blonde, yeah, they're really, really great, and they've got a great song coming out. I actually think it's going to the top. And then my other brother, he dabbled with acting there for a while, but he's definitely one of Ireland's best cocktail makers. So go to Ireland. I can recommend a few bars for you to go to, but if you go to him, he'll make you the best cocktail. And my other little brother, he's like a illustrator, comic book artist.
Okay.
But we're all wannabes, though. We're like the Spice Girls, but we're the Spice Boys.
I met the Spice Girls in Paris.
Oh yeah? Who was your favorite Spice Girl? Be honest.
I think Beckham,
Posh Spice.
Victoria.
Posh Spice.
That's the name.
Yeah.
If I remember, yeah, I think, yeah. That was my, and I remember because back then I was still a rapper, and we were in this club in Paris, Place de Clichy, called I forgot the name of the club, and somebody's telling me, yo, there's 3 girls or 4 girls. This is a group. Apparently they're famous in the UK, but they were just starting, and they were tiny, and they really wanted to talk to me, and they sent somebody to talk to me, like they wanted to meet, and I think I told the girl who came to me, like, I only date models. They're too small. That was a long time ago.
I can't say anything right now. We live in times where you're not allowed to say anything anymore. But it wasn't Ginger Spice when she started off, wasn't she like? I'm not saying that.
Yeah, well, that was a long time ago. That was the 90s.
It feels like yesterday.
Or early 2000s. But that was a long time ago, I remember.
90s,
But I mean,
97.
and then they just exploded like maybe a year after. But I mean, I remember somebody was like, yo, these girls don't want to talk to you. I was like, yeah, nah.
You never had a chance to be in a boy band?
I actually had, I mean, when I was in rap, it was not really something. But then when I got to sing, I really was not into groups because I can't get along with the opinions of too many people. So, but I produced a few boys, girls band. I produced one in France that was super famous called the DS. And yeah, I mean, I would have loved to produce a boys band. That was a lot of money back then.
Well, one of my claims to fame is that I was one of the first people to film a band called The Script. They're an Irish band, and they went on to global success. They had this song called We Cry, and it was like, together we cry. I can't do it any justice. But the first time they ever performed that song, I filmed them. And then I also was one of the first people to film Ed Sheeran.
Oh, wow.
When he was 15 or 15, 16 years old.
In Europe, I'm just talking about Europe, I mean, not in the US, but do you believe that the boys band craze originated in the UK or in
Well,
which was
in
different country?
the UK there was a famous manager. I forget what his name was, but he was clever because he created like Take That and stuff.
Oh.
And Take That were just ginormous. And in fairness to Take That, like they had tunes, like they had really, really great pop tunes, you know.
Yeah.
And then in Ireland there was this wannabe music mogul. His name was Louis Walsh, and he decided that what he would do is he would rip off the model created in the UK and try create like an Irish boy band. And so he created a boy band called Boyzone. Boyzone.
Oh yeah, of course, Boyzone.
They were supposed to be
I remember.
Irish competitors to Take That, but they were hugely successful for a period of time. And then I think he created a girl band then that were kind of big, and there was a girl called Samantha Mumba. I think he was in charge of her. And
Wasn't it the Saint? I remember the ones that I liked was the Saints. All Saints, I think.
Yeah.
All Saints.
All
I like
Saints
them.
All Saints were the anti-Spice Girls. They were supposed to be kind of the edgy, cool.
They were beautiful.
Spice Girls.
I don't know none of their songs. I just remember that they were beautiful.
You don't remember? Come on, you do know.
It's been too long.
You do know the
Listen,
all time.
at that time, I was into Aha. I was into Duran Duran. I was into Def Leppard.
That's the 80s. All Saints.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an 80s boy. So at that time, I was into rap. But so me, it was like the songs that I were into. I mean, Imagination. You know,
Tears for
like
Fears,
Pet Shop Boys. That's my.
Depeche Mode.
Of course, that's my generation.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
So I mean, after that when there was the boys band and girls band era, we were already getting in the industry. So I saw actually the French boys band. So we had a Partenaire Particulier. What was the name of that group? I don't remember. We had Alliage. We had I mean, and we did some beats for a few of them. Oh, the boys band era. Sabrina, how you doing? I hope you're doing.
It's just boy band. It's not boys band. It's boy band.
Yeah, boy band. One group that I really liked was Bronski Beat. Back then, I don't know that. I loved the music. What up, Free? I hope you're doing good. Let me say hi to everybody.
So you lived in France, right? You lived in Paris?
Yeah, I grew up in Paris. Between Paris, I mean, I was born in Congo. Then at 7 I was in Paris, and then on the weekends I was in Brussels.
I mean, the French music that I know would be like Daft Punk and
Yeah, I mean,
Air. I loved Air.
Those are big. MJ, what up?
But I also loved okay, so here's the thing. So I watched a movie. So when I was young, I went to film school, and at the time when I was in film school, I gave.
Oh, you went to film school.
Went to film
What up,
school,
Martin?
and I would watch the most random old movies. And I saw this old movie with a great British comedy actor called Peter Sellers, and it was called The Party. And in The Party, he meets this beautiful French singer called, and the singer's name, her name was Claudine Longuet, Longe.
Claudine Longuet.
I recommend you
Disney?
look up Claudine Longuet's music. And so she had this kind of wispy kind of French voice, and really kind of, just listen to it and just chill out kind of music. But I was very interested in looking up at what happened to her life after she made this movie in 1967 or something. And so what
Oh,
happened
she's
was,
81 years old. So that's some.
yeah. So what happened was she married a very famous American singer called Andy Williams. And if you listen to his music, you'd know it instantly if you heard it.
Oops.
Copyright strike done.
Done. Bye bye.
But here's the thing. So here's the thing. She
Claudine
ended up.
Longuet.
She ended up. Yeah, but there's a song called "Le Monde Le Bleu." Can you see it? "Le Monde Le Bleu" or "Blue"? I think it's just the name of the song.
Let me see. Lamont.
Le Bleu, just Blue. What's it called? I gotta get it. It's just got an amazing production
Tough
to it.
song. Small talk.
Claudine.
Yeah,
Hold on, mate. Is it okay if I look it up
no.
here? Claudine Lemay. Songs. Love is Blue. Love is Blue. I love that.
Love
tune.
is Blue. Never heard about
It's
it.
got this amazing production to it. If you listen to it for 5 seconds, it's got this little amazing production to it. But
I'll check it out.
she married one of the most famous skiers in the world, right?
Oh, okay.
And then
What's his name?
Then well, he's dead now because she killed him.
Yeah. What? Wait, what?
No, it's an amazing story. I've always had this idea that I'd love to make a movie about it. But seriously, she shot him dead, right? She shot him 3 times. Okay.
Oh, wait a
And
minute.
She managed to get off. Okay, like she was the court judged in her favor, and then she
When?
married her lawyer. She married her lawyer that got her off.
What?
But I think she signed some agreement that she had to go into high. She refused. Like she hasn't been seen in public, or she hasn't. She went.
Is
in,
that Ron Austin that she killed?
I think that's the name of the husband that she married. That's a lawyer that she married. I think I could be wrong. But
Speeder Sabich?
yeah, that's him. But she's
by accident.
Yeah. She accidentally shot him 3 times in the chest.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong in some of my details, but she's developed this kind of cult following, and every so often one of her songs pops up in a movie. And also, she's big in Japan.
Claudine Longuet killed her beloved Olympians by accident and spent only 30 days in jail for it.
But first of all, you got to see her in the movie The Party with Peter Sellers, and then you got to listen to the song "Love Is Blue." And also, she was married to Andy Williams. You know, Andy Williams was like one of those like Sinatra like crooners. He had that song, "The girls watch the boys, while the boys watch the girls who watch the girls go by." And no, I'm butchering that.
Vladimir Sabich.
Yeah.
Wow.
I should be a regular. If I become a regular contributor to this show, I'll give you all these useless stories.
I love it. Yo, that's crazy. So, so where were we? We're talking about
Killers.
we just killers. So, have you always lived in Ireland? When did you leave to the US? Or did you live in the US or?
Yeah, well, I lived in Ireland.
You had a big show in the US.
I lived in Ireland until I was about 22, and then I went to film school in New York. And,
Why film school?
Well, I wanted to be a filmmaker. I wanted to. That was my dream from about the age of 15, 16, and so yeah, I was lucky enough to go to film school in New York when I couldn't get into film school in Ireland. And I went to film school in New York, and I made a very successful short film called They're Made Out of Meat. They're Made Out of Meat. It's about 2 aliens that meet in a diner late at night to discuss what they've discovered about humans. And the main conclusion is that they're made out of meat. And the film's got about 2 million views on YouTube. And
wait, the film was out on YouTube?
It's on YouTube. It's got about 2 million views. You're not the only person that can rack up the views.
Blue Band Films?
No, it's just called They're Made Out of Meat.
Is it from Blue Band Films?
No, it's from me.
No, but I mean, is it that?
No, go back. They're Made Out of Meat. THEY apostrophe It's the top one there. Top one there.
This
That one
one?
there. Yeah. But it's been uploaded in multiple. That's my account, I think. So that's probably the best quality version of it. Yeah. So yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I have to watch that.
The short
Let
film.
me add it to
classic.
my watch later. How do I
It's
add
been
it to?
30 film festivals, won a bunch of awards. It's got, it became big because we got that guy, for example, he was in The Wire, the TV show The
Okay.
Wire,
Oh,
and the guy in the red there, he was in lots of big movies, and the guy
But-
in the black suit, he is a famous American comedian.
did you shoot that before? Oh yeah, I know this guy. Did you do that before film school or after?
No, it was my final project
Oh.
in film school, but
Wow.
what
I'll
happens
put the link
is
in
that
the chat.
you're supposed to go make a final film for film school, and
Mm-hmm.
just my film kind of grew out of proportion because I managed to get this big actor involved in it, and once I got this big actor involved in it, then lots of other people wanted to get involved with it, and it turned into this kind of megalomania short film, and it was a great experience. And it's strange though, what I didn't see, I adapted this little short story when I didn't know that the short story was kind of a famous short story, and so because of that, to this day the film gets watched like an awful lot, and even to this day it still gets invited into film festivals. And so
That's
the
great.
funny thing is it's like I made that film whatever 16 years ago or 15 years ago, and I haven't made a film since. And so they say you're only
Why?
as good as they say you're only as good as your last films. So I decided to leave it at that,
Wow. Why? Like, you should do more. I mean,
I
I'm
know,
gonna watch
right?
it. I'm telling you should do more without seeing the first one. But
I know
know.
people always say that. Apparently, though, if anybody's watching and they're interested in watching my film, apparently my film is better if you smoke something, illicit beforehand. Apparently, that improves. the
so what
film
about us
quality.
non-smokers?
Yeah, well, that's what I learned in the comments below. It's just that the comments below my film were always like, "Oh my god, I smoked a joint last night and I watched this film and it's amazing."
So you get out of film school in New York.
Yeah, that was about 2004, I guess.
So how long have you been? How long did you live in the black free saying good ideas, Stefan?
Oh, thank you. I lived in New York for just a year of the film school, and then I moved back to Ireland with this ambition to make like a feature film, and I had this great idea for a true story, and I spent a lot of time writing it, but it turns out it's very difficult to make a movie.
I can't imagine.
A short film is one thing, but a feature film is very tricky. But it was a great idea. It was I had the idea to make a movie about, how do I set this up? It's the true story of Ireland's only ever plane hijacking. I used to work in the smallest bar in Dublin, and I learned that the hijacker came in and drank in the bar the night before he hijacked the airplane. So
Were you there?
no, it was. I wasn't even alive at the time. It was 1980. It was 1981. This guy came into a bar in Dublin, and the next day he hijacked a plane flying from Dublin to London. And
Wow.
His demand was that the Vatican release the third secret of Fatima. And so, if anybody, well, I'm sure loads of people don't know what that is, but if you're in Portugal, actually, Fatima is a very, very big thing. If you go into any shop,
Yes.
there's like statues of Our Lady of Fatima
Yes.
everywhere, like the Virgin Mary. And it's interesting. The Pope is
People-
coming to Portugal.
500 meters from my house.
Yeah, and the whole city's going to be closed down for about 2 weeks, apparently.
It's gonna be a nightmare.
It's going to be a nightmare, yeah. But
I mean, for the believers, it's gonna be amazing.
But some backstory here. So basically, the Virgin Mary appeared in the town of Fatima, Portugal, in the year 1918, and she gave 3 shepherd children 3 secrets, and the first 2 secrets were revealed, but the third secret was so big that the Vatican were like, "Oh no, nobody can nobody could deal with this information, and so they kept it secret. And so Fatima, the town here, has become this kind of pilgrimage spot where people go and
Yes.
try to get cured of cancer and things like that. But anyway, it's just funny. That's why he hijacked the airplane. He hijacked the airplane demanding that the Vatican release the third secret of Fatima. So I thought that would make a very funny idea for a movie. And so I hunted down the hijacker and I messaged the hijacker.
Wait, what? Wait, what? You messaged? Wait, so wait a minute. He was not in jail?
No, he was no longer in jail. No.
Okay, so he spent.
This was in 1981, but by the time I was learning this story, it was 2003 or something. You know.
Sim. Sim.
What does she
Sorry.
want?
That was my wife talking to me.
Oh.
So you were saying, so he went to jail and then you contact him after, but how did you get in touch with him? Like,
Well, so
where was he?
When I heard this story, I literally heard it in the bar because I was working there, and this was before YouTube and Wikipedia and stuff. So I just went online and I just looked around. I did some investigative research, hence the hat, and I found an email address which I hoped was his email address. And I always remember I emailed him thinking that I wouldn't hear from him. And then 10 minutes later, he wrote back to me in all caps. And he said, yes, that was me in the year of 1981 when I hijacked the blah, blah, blah plane. And I said to him, oh my God, I think this will make an amazing idea for a movie. And I'd love to get your side of the story. And again, he wrote back to me 10 minutes later, again in all caps. And I always remember it word for word. He said to me, at last, I've waited all my life for someone like you to contact me. I know the real third secret of Fatima, which I've tried and failed to release on 2 separate occasions, and now I'm finally ready to reveal the third secret in your movie. And I was like, wow, that's amazing.
Wow.
And then he died.
I mean,
and the secret died with him.
Well, you have your answer.
Actually, I see somebody there in the comment section that goes, "What is the secret?" Well,
you have your answer.
The interesting thing is that they actually had a ceremony in the Vatican about 10 years ago, and they they brought the 2 remaining shepherd children to the Vatican, who were about 105 years of age each, and they revealed the third secret of Fatima. And it was kind of underwhelming. It was a bit of a disappointment. And what the third secret predicted was, and I guess people were kind of hoping that it might, well, I guess people were expecting that it might predict the end of the world or something. But it predicted that there was going to be an assassination attempt on the Pope, right?
Okay.
But here's the interesting thing. The guy hijacked the airplane on the 1st of May, 1981. And then on the 10th of May, 1981, the Pope was shot and almost got killed driving through Vatican City. So I'm the only person in the world that can put together those dots. And you're hearing this first through Club Shada. Or is it Shada?
I heard nothing. I know nothing.
Breaking news in the dark
I know nothing.
depths of the internet here.
Pope, you're welcome to my hood. We are waiting for you. All good. I'll be in my house. So
I did all my research. I managed to meet the pilot of the airplane. I managed to meet
the pilot of the
the former Prime Minister of Ireland.
So you were doing all this by yourself?
Yeah. I mean, I was all like, it was after I made my short film that was successful. Then I just threw myself into trying to write this film script, and so I did all the research. Went to the library, dug up all the old newspapers, tried to hunt down everybody that I could possibly find in connection with this story, and it was amazing because there was all these other interesting tangents to the story. For example, the air hostess on the airplane was a former Miss Ireland, right? And so I thought that's a really interesting character.
That's a movie.
Yeah, it's a movie. It's a mini-series, I think. It might be a Netflix mini-series.
Yeah, could be. So and then why didn't you pursue
Well,
Cost,
I spent
time.
well, so first of all, I wanted to make that movie, but if you think about it, it's a period piece. It's all set in 1981 and involves airplanes, hijacking. It's going to be expensive first
Yeah,
film. It's going to probably cost, I don't know, 6-7 million if you do it in a clever,
yeah.
cheap way. Um, and so writing a script that kind of hangs together as well was difficult. But then one day I accidentally came up with an idea for a music website.
Okay.
And then that accidental idea ended up kind of taking over my life and dragging me in a different direction. So, but people still say to me, "Oh, you should make that film," and I'm like, "Yeah, well, give me 7 million and I'll try."
So, yeah, I mean, so what was the musical idea?
Yeah, so I was back in Dublin and I lived in this apartment in the city centre of Dublin, and one morning I woke up with a very strong hangover, which is not uncommon for Irish people. And
Okay.
I went out. I had this tiny little balcony in my apartment, and there wasn't many balconies. There's not many balconies in Dublin because the weather is not really balcony weather, if you know what I mean. However, I had a little
Okay.
balcony, so I went out in the balcony to just get some fresh air, and I was like gasping for air. And I swear, we used to never go on the balcony. The only things we would do in this balcony is just throw some rubbish out there on occasion, like a broken TV or whatever. But as I was
I was
gasping,
thinking like a cigarette. It says a broken TV, but okay, go ahead.
you never had a TV breakdown? TVs break down. They used to break down. Remember, there used to be these big boxes. Anyway, so I noticed that we had a great view of the city centre of Dublin that we used to take for granted. And so I came back into my flatmates and I jokingly said to them that, we should do something funny from our balcony. What can we do? And so we came up with this idea called BalconyTV. And the idea was that every day we'd do a little internet show from our apartment balcony. But this was right when YouTube started. People didn't even know what YouTube was at the time. And so I was very determined to have a new show every day of the week. And the idea was my flatmate would present the show and I'd film it in a very rough and ready way with my little camera.
Okay.
And then what happened was we booked, my friend was in a band and I said, well, your band should play one song on the balcony and that can be Tuesday's show. But then what happened was bands from all over the country started contacting us, asking could they come up and play on our balcony. And so I decided to just naturally let it become a music website. And so
How big was the balcony?
tiny, about the size of your little studio there, probably half the size of your little studio there, I'd say, quarter the size of your studio there. So we filmed a new band on our balcony every single day for about 5 years. So that's about 2,000 shows, I'd say.
2,000 shows on YouTube?
Yeah, they're all on YouTube. And the thing is that hold on, well, Sony may have taken them down recently, but a lot of them are still they're all out there if you know.
What's the name? The Balcony Show?
BalconyTV.
The Balcony TV. Let me see if I find it.
But hold on, Sony ruined it in the end. So whatever you
Is
see,
it a pink logo?
Yeah, no, but they destroyed the logo and everything. It would upset me if I see it. But if you scroll down to the beginning or something, or popular or something, you might see.
Oh, let me see.
Some a bit more.
Believer.
But so so after 3 months of doing
Life can't be.
Don't watch the new ones. The new ones are not what it was. Not what it was.
So where are the old ones? How do I find the old ones?
Well, listen, don't worry about it. Listen, it's all controversial with Sony and stuff. They destroyed it, but that's. But if you just want to hear the story narrative here,
8 years ago?
No, we did it for 12 years. We made 20,000 shows on balconies all over the world.
20. Oh, then you started going everywhere?
Yeah, so people started emailing me going, oh my God, Balcony TV is amazing. It's a great way of showcasing local artists. We need a Balcony TV here. Yeah,
Timeouts.
Yeah.
So you start a show on your balcony on YouTube.
Yeah.
It gets popular on YouTube.
Well, people start, yeah, correct. Yeah.
And then because of that, you start receiving emails from bands all around the world saying,
No,
we
we
want to
started
come
getting, well, we were getting emails from bands certainly all over Ireland, that wanted to come up and play on our
Okay.
balcony. But then when bands were visiting Ireland, they also wanted to come up and play on our balcony. But then I started getting emails from people who were like, "Oh my God, you shouldn't do Balcony TV in our city." And in fact, I'm a wannabe producer, or I'm a producer, and we should make Balcony TV in this city. And so, to make a very long story short, we ended up launching Balcony TV in 100 cities around the world, and we had a production
Wow.
team we had a different production team in 100 different cities, and they would all make shows. So we were making 50, 60, 70 shows a week on balconies all over the world.
So how would you organize that?
Well,
Was it like a bunch
oh,
of
look, I lost all
independent?
my hair.
Did you have like a bunch of independent productions all doing content, or you had like a?
Yeah, we basically so what happened was somebody would email me and they'd say, "Oh my God, you know." So especially when we started launching in different cities, then people would go, "Why is it not in our city?" And
So it was
then
like
I
a
would-
franchise.
And then I would say, "Well, why don't you make the show in your city?" And then they would go and make a test show, and then I would give them the rights to produce the show in their cities. But one of the requirements is that if you make it in the city, you have to make it in the city. Do you know what I mean? But what it did was it gave the people in the cities kind of like it gave people kind of exclusivity of they owned their city, they owned the production in their city, which opened doors for them in that city. And so we literally opened it. We did it in like Tokyo and Johannesburg and all over South America, Russia,
Wow.
everywhere really, you know. And
So
it was amazing. I created connections and friends with people all over the world because of that. You know?
did it stay a small show in a small balcony, or then it became like a super production as it became popular?
So the production was extremely simple, and I pushed for the productions in the other cities to be simple as well, because I actually didn't want people to be putting huge amounts of effort into it, especially considering there was very little payoff apart from the kudos of doing it. You know what I mean? However, as it evolved, like certain cities then decided they wanted to do it like in more of a HD or better sound quality and stuff. So, but the basic premise of the show was the same. It was always one shot, and there would be a presenter, and the presenter would quickly introduce the musical artist. The artist would play one song, and then there'd be a little outro. But each show was about like 5 minutes long, you know.
And all these episodes coming from all these cities,
Yeah.
where would they be hosted? On your YouTube channel or in
Yeah,
their
so
YouTube channels?
it was really strange and quite unique. It was in the fact that we had one YouTube channel and we had like videos essentially being published from all over the world on this one YouTube channel. So what was interesting about that is,
Wow.
the presenters were often speaking in their language. You know what I mean? So if we did it in Poland, so they're speaking in Polish, and we're doing it in Russia, and they're speaking in Russian. We did it in Ukraine. We did it everywhere, and so
That's
it was all these
crazy.
different languages coming through to one channel, which was against any kind of. There was nothing like it in the world over that 10, 12 years. And we were very proud of the fact that we tried not to be too boutiquey, you know what I mean? So there was a few other kind of big internet music shows. One was called La Blogothèque, which is a really cool French show. And they would film like bands in unique locations.
La Blogothèque, yes.
Yeah, fantastic show. But they only had like kind of big-ish artists. And then there was a show in the UK called the Black Cab Sessions, and they would film bands in the back of a black cab. But again, they'd only have kind of slightly biggish artists. Whereas we would give, if artists were okay, we would give them a shot, because we needed to have a new show every day of the week. So, we couldn't be too like, "Oh, I'm sorry, you're not big enough." But because of that, we ended up filming, one of the first performances of Ed Sheeran and Mumford and Sons and every kind of version of them in every different country around the world, like Joss Stone or, we had all different types of people. Then we had kind of legends that would drop onto the balcony, or we'd have children of legends that would drop onto it was bizarre. 12 years.
Wow. And so you had like 60, 70 episodes from all around the world coming to you every week?
Every week, yeah.
And you would upload everything on YouTube, like all these
Everything on
videos?
Yeah, everything on YouTube. And I mean, eventually, as it evolved, I mean, eventually, we raised investment for it, and so and it was very hard. To
What
get to that
year?
point. 2012,
So you started in 2002?
6.
So like really in the early YouTube days.
It was so early that I remember when I had this idea for a one-page website, and I wanted it to be really simple and colorful. And there was a graphic design friend that I had in Dublin at the time, and we were trying to figure out how we would actually put the video online. And I remember at the time there was this thing called QuickTime, and there was also this thing called Real Player. And
yeah, Real Player.
So we were like, can we use Real Player? What to use Real Player, QuickTime? And then I looked around online and I found this website called YouTube. And I always remember going to the graphic designer and I said, I found this website called YouTube. Would this work? And I remember her like checking it out, and she was like, huh. She was like, I think this might work. And I was like, yeah, great. So we were very much one of the first YouTube concepts. And then 3 months after we started it in 2006, we won the award for Best Music Website in Ireland.
Wow.
And I'm just showing off here now, but you know,
congrats.
It all ended in disaster anyway, so I could do this right now. And then 2 years after that, we got nominated for Best Viral Video Content at the Webby Awards, which are like the
Did the Webby Award exist already?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so if you think about it, viral video in 2008.
Real Player took me far away.
Viral video as a concept in 2008 was a very much a new thing. So the words viral video was a new thing, and so we were nominated in the best viral video category, which is pretty massive in hindsight. But we were nominated against, I always remember, Chocolate Rain. Does anybody remember Chocolate Rain out there? Come on, Kaysha, you don't remember Chocolate Rain? And we were nominated against Diet Coke and Mentos. Go on, bring up Chocolate Rain there. Bring it up. It's one of the first viral videos.
Let me see. Chocolate Rain.
Yeah. How many views with Chocolate Rain?
Tay Sunday.
Yeah.
I remember that was the guy who couldn't sing.
Yeah, he just kind of sung in a funny way. Yeah.
I remember that.
It rained. Build a tent and
That's long time ago, 16 years ago. 136 million views. Oops, sorry. 136 million views.
I think that video had as much views as our 20,000 videos had combined.
Wow. 136 million views.
And Diet Coke and Mentos, that was another one we were nominated against. Remember Diet Coke and Mentos?
Not at all.
If you put a Mentos mint into a bottle of Diet Coke, the bottle of Diet Coke will explode. But somebody made a video of he coordinated all the bottles, so it created this kind
the
of
domino
amazing,
effect.
something like that. Yeah,
Wow.
it was a cool video though.
It reminds me of the slow-mo guys. I love to look at these guys. They try stuff and then they film it in super high-speed camera. And it's interesting. Chocolate Rain.
Exploding and stuff.
So then you become super popular with your show, the BalconyTV.
It never became super popular, but the myth of it became
on YouTube.
Myth of it became big because we were in all these different. If you looked at it from an outside point of view, it probably looked like it was massive because it was all over the world. It was all these different cities, and there was just endless amounts of content coming through it. And then also,
That's amazing. This could have been its own website. That's the way Twitch started.
We had our own website and all that kind of stuff. It all happened, but then some artists went big, obviously, after they performed on the show. Not because of the show, but just just because we were filming so many shows. The chances were we were eventually going to film somebody that went on to become massive. And so Ed Sheeran, Mumford and Sons, people like that. And so then if you then you wanted to be on the show because they're on the show, you know what I mean? And then just kept on that kind of thing.
So then, how did it become part of Sony?
Well, so we eventually raised investments. We raised $1 million, which was just
Wow.
ginormous, and
Back in the
also
days, that was huge.
It came at a time when we'd been doing this for 6 years and hadn't managed to make a penny out of the thing. So when eventually
It
we
was
raised,
before YouTube monetization.
yeah, well, yeah, and but our view, yeah. So we raised the money, and then I had to move back to New York, funny enough, and I was given a mission by our investors, and the mission was, I always remember they said this to me. We raised the money, and I said, I had this 3-year plan in my mind, and they said to me, no, we don't want a 3-year plan, Stephen. We want a 1-year plan. We want you to spend this money as fast as you can, so then you can raise 7 million in a year later, and then a year later, then you can raise 50 million, and then a year later, you can sell it to YouTube for $1 billion, or to Google for $1 billion. And I remember going,
Limited money.
yeah, so I was like Brewster's Millions in New York, just like going spend, trying to make it really big, really fast, and yeah, I failed at that. And at the last second, I made a deal with essentially Sony.
How did you fail?
Well, I didn't make it into this ginormous big thing that the investors wanted and stuff. And so then we ran out of money. And so when we ran out of money, it was like, I'm really speeding up. It was a very long story. But I'm trying to condense certain things here. But yeah, the last meeting I ever was going to have with it, I managed to negotiate a deal with Sony, essentially. And I got them to take it over in exchange for its survival. And I went working for them, running BalconyTV. And at this point, we'd done it for 9 years. And yeah, that was interesting. I worked for them for 2 or 3 years, and then they let me go.
So, what?
And then they destroyed the whole thing there afterwards, unfortunately. Which is very sad for everybody involved, because we became this big global family of producers, and everybody was very passionate about it. And so we had people in every single city, and everybody loved doing it. And the bands loved being on it, the artists loved being on it, and we weren't discriminatory about any kind of music. We welcomed all kinds of music. I mean, we literally had like choirs, we had opera singers, hip hop, whatever. We had everything, and everything. And also, like, it was fascinating as well, as it's like from an Irish, being from Ireland, it's easy to see music as just through the narrow focus of your own world, and if you're from Ireland, then maybe you see Britain as well and you see America, but then that's pretty much it. But BalconyTV let me know that, oh my God, they actually have a musical community in every place around the world, and in every place around the world they've got artists that are big in those places. I may have not have heard of them, but they're very big in those places, And in fact, our most watched video ever on BalconyTV, I think I had like 7 million views. I never even heard of the person, so you never know.
And so how did you first of all this content from outside of Ireland, from everybody else, where is it?
What do you mean?
All the videos from the Japan people, from the Dutch people, from Azerbaijan, from Ukraine.
It's very sad, and it's very sad, right? But Sony, the Orchard, have delisted all the videos, so the videos all exist, but you can't necessarily find them on YouTube unless you literally know that, which is very sad for the people who went into the effort of producing the shows. And very sad for the artists that traveled excitedly to go and play on the balcony. We used to always say that we gave every band their Beatles rooftop moments, do you know what I mean? And there's some fantastic fantastic, like endless, amazing memories and moments from people all over the world who took part. This was 12 years. I would say that Balcony TV was probably the best document of independent music all around the world over the course of that 12 years, you know.
Would you do it again?
I wouldn't know how to do it again. Like it happened, like the idea happened by accident, and then it kind of evolved in its own kind of. I mean, I always felt that I nurtured it along a bit, and I tried to get out of the way of how the idea was evolving. Would I do it again? Well, I think the music industry is awful. so,
But how did
ahead.
Sony screw it up?
Okay, so I gotta be careful with my words here because I don't want to. I want to be careful with my words here. So the company that took it over was actually a company called the Orchard, and the Orchard
Yes.
were half owned by Sony when they took it over, and then
That's the distribution company.
yeah, and a few months later they became fully owned by Sony. So essentially, it was Sony, and when Sony eventually. So after doing this for 12 years, one day I got called into an office and they said to me, "Stephen, look, we're letting you go." This was at a Friday at 5:30 kind of thing. It's kind of like a Jerry Maguire kind of
Of your own show. That's crazy.
Yeah, 12 years, you know. And soon after that, they told all the producers around the world that were making the shows that they no longer wanted them to make the shows, even though the people around the world were doing it they were doing it out of passion, out of love for the music and stuff. So they were devastated. The people all around the world were just completely and utterly heartbroken. I mean, and they were messaging me and they were like, "What are we gonna do, Stephen?" And I was like, "Listen, my hands are tied. I don't know what I can say or do. I don't know what I can
That's
say at
crazy.
this point." And then they rebranded the thing, and then they decided to make their own version of the show inside
The pink one.
in a warehouse with these kind of poppy stars, which the show was called. The show was called Balcony TV.
Life can't be that.
Yeah, the show was called Balcony TV. The point is the bands are playing on a balcony with the vista of the city. So
that's a new one.
The idea that they made new shows inside, not on a balcony, it's just mind blowing. And the logo and all that's got nothing to do with me. But if you click videos and scroll back, I do think that there are classic shows still there. If you go all the way back, they start becoming like they're what the shows look like.
That's the old one.
Yeah, that's in Prague, for example. But I'm sure
Okay.
I need. But there's 20,000 shows, and the quality level is,
Already.
But no, they've taken down loads of them, and they've taken down all of them. There was 20,000 shows, and now there's probably about 200 shows still up there. So it's very upsetting, and I try not to think about it too much because otherwise I'd jump off a bridge or something. But yeah.
Interesting.
What can you do?
So, what did you do after that?
Well, I lied under a blanket for about 3 months under my bed, and very much asked
Depressed.
myself. I was like, "What?" I spent the majority of my adult life to that point doing it, and I was very proud of what it was and what it became, and it was a beautiful thing. And it created a lot of opportunities for people all over the world. Like, for example, the presenters of the shows, a lot of the presenters went on to bigger things. The producers went on to bigger things and stuff.
So it's not a bad thing.
No, it was great for the people around the world, certainly. Just poor old muggins here, I was only, I suffered, you know what I mean? But, so what did I do? I decided to go traveling around the world. And so I decided to go on a 100-city tour around the world. And what I would do was I would actually go and visit every city where we did Balcony TV. And I would go meet the people in each city that actually made the shows, who I mostly just communicated with online. And so that's what I did. I went on I got rid of my apartment, packed my little suitcase, got a camera, and went traveling around the world for a year and a half. And that was amazing. And
With a camera in the hand.
camera in hand. And then I came back to New York where I was living, and a year later, COVID broke out. And then when COVID broke out, I was essentially kicked out of New York. And And that's when I ended up in Lisbon, because Lisbon was kind of Portugal was one of the few places in the world that was actually open, that you were allowed to go to, that you were legally allowed to go to. And so that's what brought me to Lisbon. But I came very spontaneously, one-way flight,
Okay.
checked into a hostel, and the week after I got to Lisbon, I thought, what am I going to do with myself now? And this little idea popped into my mind called People of Lisbon. And my idea was that every week I'd make a little documentary about a different person that lives in Lisbon. And that's how I know you.
Wait, were you going too fast?
Sorry.
So
It is late.
First of all, let me put a link to the YouTube channel so that everybody can follow. Second of all, so you just were there, COVID, and you didn't know what to do with your life, so you just decided to start filming people. So how did you meet your partner? Because you do it with Rita.
Yeah, Rita. Well, Rita, so I make so they're like little short form documentaries. They're about 5 minutes long. They're kind of, usually they're a bit humorous. And so, but a few days after I moved to Lisbon, I met this girl who was this great photographer called Rita and Sony. And
Where is she from?
she's from Latvia.
Latvia, yes.
And I said to her, look, why don't you take photographs of the people and I'll make the little documentaries and we'll just do that, you know? And that's what we've done ever since. So we try and have a new video out every Thursday.
One question.
Yeah.
When you decided to create People of Lisbon,
Yeah.
how long were you in Lisbon for?
About a week and a half.
Wait a minute, you just arrived and you just decide, let me film people.
Well, you have to be doing something in this world, you know what I mean? And I wasn't doing anything. And so, you know, you kind of like, you have to bear in mind, this was 2 months into COVID. You know, even though Lisbon was open or Portugal was open, it was still ghostly quiet at the same time.
Yeah.
Because there was no tourists coming, not many anyway. There was a few, but there wasn't many. And I just figured I needed to be doing something. You know, I had essentially traveled for most of the previous 2-3 years. And so I thought to myself, what could be positive for the people at this time that might help the people in a little way? And I thought, well, when I was traveling around the world, I made this kind of travel vlog, which I called the Laid Off Founder, and I taught myself like some very basic kind of vlogging, documentary skills. But the problem was that the camera was pointed at me all the time, and I thought, well, maybe it'd be great if I turned the camera around and stop pointing the camera at me and point it at other people, and make videos about people and showcase people that way, and that might be a good, positive thing for the people at this time. And that was it. It was very, very simple in its concept. Any idea that I have tends to be extremely simple.
But it works effective.
Then I'm a believer in getting out of the way of the idea. You know what I mean? Let the idea lead the way.
And how did you finance the show?
Well, People of Lisbon.
Yes.
I'm still trying to finance people.
So how did you get your first sponsor? How did you get into planes? Because listen, I was in the plane going to Disney with my daughter, and then all of a sudden I see myself in a top plane. I was like, that was a proud moment for me.
Feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah, listen, I'm here like, yo, that's me in the plane.
Isn't it interesting when you see yourself on a certain type of screen that you feel a bit more special? Like, it's like, what is the difference between an airplane screen and the screen that we're looking at right now? Nothing really, but it just makes you feel a little bit more like, oh my God.
I think it's more exclusive. It's more exclusive because it's not everybody, and not only nowadays we are on screen, we have access to the whole world, but the whole world has so much choice. But when they are inside of a plane, it's really part of a programming that is, even if they have choice, it's still limited to really like what's there. And you're like, oh, listen, I'm in a plane. So it's You know.
Yeah, no, yeah. So 3 or 4 months after we started doing the videos, and we were very consistent in having a new video out every week. We literally got contacted by TAP Airways, which is the national airline of Portugal, and they
They
basically
contacted you.
yeah, they contacted us and they said, "We love your
That's
videos. And
great.
we'd love to have the videos on the airplane." And
That's amazing.
I always felt that the airplane, like that, I always thought that would be a great audience for the videos, because the videos are all in English and they showcase Portugal, Lisbon in a very good way. So I thought it'd be good for an audience visiting, because most of the videos are watched transatlantic, people flying from America or South America to Lisbon, Portugal. And it's just a good audience. It's our best audience, it's where our videos get watched the most. And because when you're sitting on one of those seats and you're on a 7-hour flight, right? Okay, you watch one of the videos and then you actually watch the next video, and then you watch the next video. So what's interesting is that people watch like 16 videos. I've seen the analytics from the airline, and people watch 15, 16 videos in a row.
That's crazy.
Whether it's on YouTube, somebody's more likely to turn off after 5 seconds. You know what I mean?
Actually, when I watched when the algorithm just proposed it to me, I think I watched like 10 episodes, and
That's great.
and I liked and commented on everything that I watched.
Yeah, well, that's how I met you. That's actually where I reached out to you.
Exactly.
You
From my comments.
Commented on one of our videos, and I remember then that had me dip onto your channel and check out your story, and that's what had me reach out to you. And I think you were something like, I thought you were episode 102 or something of it, but I think you were more like 100 or 98 or something.
Yeah, 190 something. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Because we took some time to do it.
So we try and do videos about all different types of people, and so we have done videos about all different types of people. Like,
how do you find them?
Literally. How do we find the people? We find them very spontaneously. Often they contact us via social media. Sometimes I'll just meet somebody who I'll find to be interesting. I think they might be good. Sometimes people will suggest people. Often it's in the day or two before we actually film the video. Very lastminute.com. In terms of, it can often be that way. But go ahead.
Would you do people of Paris, people of Porto, people of Algarve, people of Bangkok, like the same way you had BalconyTV all around the world? Would you like expand it as well, or have people expand it the same way, make it a decentralized entity again?
Well, I got a couple of mixed feelings about that. One part of me likes that idea. The other part of me is that with BalconyTV, a bit of megalomania crept in at a certain point, and then I was like, wow, how many places can we get this all around the world? Let's take over the world with this tiny concept that is so small. Let's see if we can take over the world with the smallest idea in the world, and that's what we tried to do. and we failed in the end. We failed in the end, but we gave it a very good shot. But with that came
from failure.
Yeah.
Comes a lot of experience, and you know how to fail. Once you know how to fail, you can fail again, but you know how to control more or less the concept and not let a big company screw it. So, I mean, because to me, I believe that people of Kinshasa would be amazing. People of Brazzaville would be amazing. People of Kigali would be amazing. People from Roma, and not even to go too far. People of Porto.
Yeah.
Same country. Like,
I like the idea, but
it's just how do you execute?
Yeah. So with BalconyTV, we had people in the cities that would make the other balcony shows, but it was a concept show. It was very simple, and it was a concept that you could just reproduce.
Yeah.
So the question is, do we let other people in the other cities make the videos? So I'm in two minds about whether we should do that. Although we do have the idea of maybe us going to other cities and making the videos in other cities. But then there is something about cute and local and keeping it in its own
Yeah,
little bubble.
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like, you know, you don't need to take over the world.
I mean, there is
But if somebody wants to give me a big amount of cash, then I'll give it a go again.
because I remember that those travel YouTubers, they just started walking the street of their cities, and now they're all around the world, and they have
yeah.
millions of views on everything. So
Yeah, I mean, the people of Lisbon is different. It's like they're short form documentaries, really.
for Lisbon,
They're short form documentaries. They're not vlogs, you know. And it's actually one of the things that upsets us. I'm sure you know about the pain of the YouTube algorithm, you know. So, you know, unfortunately, our videos just don't come up in YouTube search that easily. And even if you type in very specifically what you're looking for, they won't necessarily come up, you know, which is heartbreaking because, you know, people that watch them like them. You know, we know that people like them because people contact us from watching them on the airplanes. Like, oh my God, your videos are amazing. How come they're not watched more on YouTube and stuff? Not that I expect them to be watched like millions of times or anything like that. I do understand that it's a you know, it's a relative audience, but still, though, it's heartbreaking when you just type in the name directly of a obscure person and the video doesn't even come up on YouTube. You know
I think that the problem is in the name, because when you type Lisbon, there's so much.
Oh yeah, sure.
So many videos of, and everybody's doing videos about Lisbon. So when you say people of Lisbon, maybe because the not the title, but the two words that are people and Lisbon are so generic that maybe the algorithms just throw new houses and all the vloggers that are talking about Lisbon and et cetera, instead of showing
It's interesting.
you.
In my YouTube history, the algorithm didn't work for Balcony TV either. You know, so even though we
Oh
did
Lord.
20,000 shows as well, you know, our videos didn't get watched a huge amount either. Every so often there'd be a breakout kind of video, and that was just always completely random. It just felt like we won the lottery accident. It was just totally accident. I don't know why.
At least
certain
when I
videos are so
search,
big. Yeah.
that's the first result. So I guess.
Yeah, but the thing is like if you type in somebody's like, if you type in horse rider Lisbon, for example, or horse Lisbon or something, if you type in something specific to one of the videos, you would like our video that's related to that concept to come up. So maybe it will come up now. But if you type in horse Lisbon, then in theory we did a video about a horse. There, it will come up
there
first. There.
is.
So what do I know? So don't listen to me. I know nothing. But that's because YouTube's listening to us right now, and it's just trying to play with
I
our
mean,
mind.
and it's, you know, the algorithm. Once you start understanding how it works, and I've been really understanding and testing stuff. Probably because I've been to the website, to the YouTube channel a few times already, and I watch. Whenever you put the link on the WhatsApp group, I click it, and I go put a like and watch it. My algorithm knows what I'm searching for when I type people of Lisbon,
Yeah, that's
because
right,
it
that's right.
always serves me the new ones. Because whatever, actually, when people say, hey, I don't see you, it's usually because they didn't look. Because I think what a lot of people think, I mean, it's true, the algorithm is obscure, but in reality, the algorithm is really what you make of it. And it's really whatever the person is looking is gonna define what they gonna look. Even if they only look a certain political views video, they will get a ton of that, because the algorithm is trying to make them happy and stuff. So, and actually the reason why I got to people of Lisbon was that I was looking for houses. I was looking for apartments, and I really wanted to move to a new place, and I kept looking for stuff, and then one of your videos popped up, and I clicked in, and I was like, hey. Then I went to the channel, subscribed, leave some comments, and there you go.
Do you want to hear one of my best YouTube stories?
Yes.
See if I can remember this quickly. Okay, so here's a good story. So, I'm trying to get the story in my mind. Here we go. So 2 years after we started Balcony TV, it was 2008. And
Okay.
at this point, we made about 600 Balcony TV videos from our balcony in Dublin. And
Wow.
YouTube was just getting massive at the time. Now, the founder, by pure coincidence, the founder of YouTube was visiting Dublin in 2008, right? And he was a guy called Chad Hurley, right? Chad
Yes.
Hurley was one of the founders of YouTube.
Yep.
So he was going to speak at this kind of white tablecloth dinner in Dublin. So I thought to myself at the time, I have to figure out a way to meet the founder of YouTube so I can get him to help me move Balcony TV to the next
To the
level.
top.
So I gate
To the
crashed.
homepage.
I broke into this dinner, Mission Impossible style, and when I got in the door, there was this big table map inside the door, which showed kind of like where everybody was supposed to sit at these white tablecloth dinners, right? So I looked where the founder of YouTube was going to sit, and I thought, right, I'm going to go and sit at that table. So I went to that table, and there was a place name right next to the guy, whoever was supposed to sit next to the founder of YouTube, and I swapped out the name, and I sat next to what I hoped was going to be the founder of YouTube. So lo and behold, the founder of YouTube sat next to me, and he was about 28 years of age, I would say, kind of blonde hair, and so we're there sitting there, and I'm a bit shy, and there's a couple of boring speeches being made. I'm trying to build up the courage, and I finally said to him, I said, "Listen, Chad, nice to meet you. My name's Stephen." I said, "Don't you find these speeches like really boring?" And he said, "Yeah, I do find them a bit boring, to be honest." And I said, "Wouldn't you much rather just go to some bars in Dublin and experience Dublin pubs?" And he said, "Actually, yeah, you know what? That is what I like to do." And I said, "Well, why don't we go? And I can show you the best pubs in Dublin." And he was like, "All right, come on, let's go." So myself and him and two
But
or
did
three
he speak
others,
already?
not much. So myself and him and two or three others escaped this dinner where he was the guest of honor at. We went to bars all around Dublin, right? And we ended up in a bar in Dublin at 3 o'clock in the morning doing tequila shots, me and the founder of YouTube. Okay?
Yo.
So
With
me and
Chad.
the founder, me and Chad, like we're like becoming best friends, and I was like super excited about this. I was like, "Oh my god, this is going to be such a big thing for Balcony TV." So he gave me his email address, which, believe it or not, was chad@youtube.com. And actually, over the course of my life, I often learned that people's email addresses was often just very, very simple.
Yeah.
So sometimes you should just guess people's email addresses, and sometimes you get lucky. Anyway, the next morning I woke up raging hangover, and I thought to myself, "Oh my god, I'm going to email the founder of YouTube now and ask him does he want to go for coffee before he goes back to America." And I thought, well, wait a second. First thing I'm going to check the news, because that's the automatic thing I do every morning. Just read the news.
Oh, Lord.
First of all. So I went on to BBC.co.uk, and literally in the technology section, which was on the
They
front page of the
sold
website,
to Google.
the breaking news was Chad Hurley sells YouTube to Google for $1.6 billion, whatever, literally
Wow.
that morning. And I remember thinking to myself, "Oh, how many tequilas did I give him last?"
Steve and Chad. There was a third one, but it was. I remember the first time when the YouTube the website started with the elephant video in the zoo. It was the three of them.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that because at that time I was using Vidler, and all of a sudden, and Dailymotion too.
Yeah,
They were-
all of the Balcony TV videos are on Dailymotion. Definitely can find them all there. It's interesting. It's funny. You've had this evolution with YouTube, and I've had a different evolution with YouTube. So there was a certain point after a year and a half of YouTube where YouTube decided to They tried to localize YouTube. So what
Yes,
I mean
I
by that
remember.
is they decided to launch YouTube Britain and YouTube
YouTube
Ireland,
France, YouTube Spain.
France.
I remember.
So when they launched YouTube Ireland, they asked us to make their launch videos of YouTube in Ireland. So we made these videos just where we're on the balcony going, "Welcome YouTube to Ireland." And we briefly had a good relationship with them where they would put our videos on the front page of YouTube Ireland, which is, the power of that at the time was just huge. I mean, if the video was on the front page of YouTube, even if it's just YouTube Ireland, it was just 150,000 views. Just
Oh, yeah.
done. You know what I mean?
I remember I had one video, one of my songs that stayed on the homepage for a month,
Yeah.
and this video now has 16 million views.
Yeah.
That was
unbelievable.
crazy. At that time on YouTube France. Wow, what a story.
Yeah.
So what is next for you?
I don't know. What's next for you? Probably go to bed. Why do you why do you record this so late?
Well, listen, it started during the pandemic, and I was doing it at 2 p.m. And every time I would be live, my wife's brother and her sister would come, and they would decide to eat in the kitchen and make a ton of noise. I would hear the clickities of the forks and knives on the, and because with these microphones, the things that is filtered that people don't hear on YouTube, I still hear them. So I would hear them, and I think this picks up so much stuff that doesn't go to YouTube, but I would have the impression that I would just hear them talking, and I would tell them, hey, you have to be silent, I'm live. But so I was like, okay, you know what, let me do it later. And as I kept doing it, I just realized I can only do it when they are asleep. If not, they come talk to me, and because I'm on the living room, it's a nightmare.
Well,
So
I have an idea for you. You ready for this? I had this idea today, and I'm gonna give it to you on the show. All right,
Yeah.
here we go. So when I was young, back in the radio days, before
Yeah.
YouTube and stuff, radio days, when I was a teenager, I remember being in bed late at night and I'd listen to the radio. But in Ireland, and I think it's similar in other countries, there'd be late night phone-ins. So
Yeah.
it'd be phone in and like 1 o'clock in the morning, and
Yeah.
be somebody phoning in, kind of complaining about her husbands or something. I mean, some drama in the family.
Getting
And
advice.
it was kind of like agony aunt, or and the presenter was always a bit salacious, and they'd be like, "Oh, you should break up with your husband before it's too late," and all that kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? And you'd be glued to the radio. It was complete trash, but it'd be glued to it. And actually, everybody in school was listening to this show every night. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we had the same in
Um,
France.
So I'm thinking you should do Kaysha's advice. I mean, late at night, because one, you do it late at night. Two, you've got the voice, you got that soulful voice that goes with it. You know what I mean? It's like, why don't you pour yourself a nice hot bath, and we'll tell you.
I did that in the West Indies. Actually, I did a few radio shows where I would stay from 1 a.m. till 4 a.m. And from time to time, every 50 episode, I do an episode where the link is open to everybody. Everybody can come in and talk, and we talk about anything. And I mean, the fact that I'm gonna have my office now in the new apartment, maybe I will do the show earlier. Maybe.
No, I want you to be a late night agony aunt.
Listen.
People need to phone you, tell you their life problems, and you just give
Hi,
them
Kay.
kind of-
I have a big problem. Listen.
Yeah,
I did one all nighter on TikTok, and those people had crazy stories to tell. Like,
yeah.
I love pinching my left nipple. I love doing this and that, and it was special because TikTok is special. It's another nebula. But
You're killing it on TikTok.
yeah, well, I gotta say that 5 billion views later, because when we talk, we were not even at 1 billion, and I don't even know. 5 billion was a month ago. So
It's called exponential growth.
listen, that's crazy. And it
hockey
makes
stick.
everything grow up. Like, I think I have 4,000 new subscribers on YouTube every month, and then 1 million views on YouTube every month, plus 2 million every week on Spotify and the streaming services. So that's great. That's
Amazing.
yeah, I gotta say that.
You have my jealousy.
I'm taking it.
I give you my jealousy. I bestow it upon you.
I welcome it
Yeah, there you
with a smirk. But anyway, it was a great conversation.
Good
You
chat.
have a lot of story to tell. Hope to do more, and I will post the show for the group when they wake up tomorrow morning.
And did you watch back your shows? Do you watch back your
Yes,
shows?
yeah,
Do you?
yeah. Sometimes I do. Actually, I love watching the show. I mean, sometimes I'm watching it to see if there's something I can do better. But most times, I'm just listening to myself. I'm just like, you're good.
And can you buy your sunglasses in the shop?
These ones,
Yeah.
I don't know if they're still on sale, but not
You
on
should
my
get
shop.
them- You
But
should get them in the shop, the sunglasses.
actually, I'm thinking of doing a partnership with somebody who sells glasses and sunglasses. I already talked. We have to go meet each other, like, so I could change sunglasses every show. And glasses, sunglasses, just change styles. That would be interesting. I already had a champagne sponsor, but I don't drink. I had a hotel, a few things. I'm not really. I mean, it's great if I can make the money from the show, but I don't. It's not really like something that I need because I have other sources of income, so I can focus on just creating some good conversation.
Well, I've enjoyed chatting. We should do it again.
Anytime you want.
Next time, let's talk about UFOs. So.
Let's talk, and next time bring Rita,
Yeah. Sure.
so we can have or we bring somebody from the group.
Yeah, well, there's so many. There's so many people you should have on this now from the group. God Almighty.
Oh, listen, yeah. There was one that I met on the meetup that I wanted to get. The one that is that his wife is Haitian and he does motivation speaking.
Yeah, you should get Tony, the basketball player. He'd be good.
Yeah?
He likes to talk.
Yeah.
All right, good stuff, man. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thanks for being here. I'm sleepy.
I'm going to bed.
Oh, me too. Trust
Good
me.
night, world.
All right. Peace. An amazing conversation with Stephen O'Regan from People of Lisbon. Listen, I recommend going to the YouTube channel. It is, great little 6-minute videos to discover people who live in Lisbon, people who have been in Lisbon for a month, a year, a whole life. A lot of great, interesting people, and I'm trying to get Bodhisattva to also be a guest. I think that would be great. And listen, such a great story. I believe that Stefan is one of those rare people that he has the ideas and he does. You see, hey, let's do a show on our balcony. Boom, it becomes this amazing concept like 20 years ago. And arrives in Lisbon a week after, is just filming people. And these are great videos. Again, I'm going to put the link in the show, and I'm going to put it in the show notes too. People of Lisbon, there you go. Let me see. and you meet some amazing people when you watch these videos. I'm telling you, there are some very cool individuals, and yeah, that's me. Look, shorts, that's me. I don't even remember. I mean, the numbers don't. I think I'm number 100 something, but in terms of episode, but some great stuff. Great people telling great stories about what they do in Lisbon. And listen, I believe that this is an amazing concept for other countries as well. Maybe not, I mean, just the idea of meeting people. I was telling a friend of mine who has a YouTube channel that I help him run, and I was telling him, take a telephone or give a telephone, a smartphone, to 3-4 people and have them go around Brazzaville and just ask questions. Either question that has to do with the actuality or just random question about life and stuff. And like in French, we say micro-trottoir. And just film those people, put some music in the back, and then do a lot of like 3 or 4 minute videos, short format videos with one question and maybe 3-4 people replying. And you just film people in the streets or near your bar, etc. I've been telling him to do it for 5 years. And listen, if I was not doing all the things I do, and I was living in Kinshasa, for example, or I was in Bissau, or was in somewhere else, I would do that, because that would be an amazing concept. And I believe that, I understand that when you have a concept or a show, you want to keep it tight and small, because it's also a question of control. It's easier to control the beast when you just shoot your episodes. But actually, that could be a franchise that could be done everywhere. A good host that meet people everywhere. So that could be him. He's a great host. But yeah, you could have this here and there. I believe this is the type of shows that are actually simple enough that it can be replicated in so many places. And I mean, I understand that the concept is people of Lisbon, but you could have a sister channel called People of the World that have like people in many cities, or maybe, keep it the same and sometimes have a guest, like a guy like me is in Cape Verde, meets 2-3 people, and boom. I mean, those are just ideas, but it shows that, he's a person that just finds the concept. The good creatives, that's how you find them. They arrive anywhere they go, pop. They already find a concept, they make it happen, and then it grows into something. And look, gets contacted with national airlines, sponsorship, etc. So listen, go check the channel and let me know what you thought. Olivier Jean-Marie, what up? Toujours, cabane, toujours. I hope you enjoyed this show tonight. Listen, I'm starting to be sleepy. I'm gonna go get me some rest. Thank you so much, Free Thinker. Urban Sweet Spot, what up? I hope you're doing good. And listen, this show was brought to you by Shadaware.com, the gods of good fortune. Our Master Electronic is our stream royalty for the remaining of the month of July, unless somebody, of course, sends a $26 super chat. Thank you to all the sponsors, and I'm gonna leave you actually with the track that is playing, that is called Kenza, which is a beat that I did. And I will see you when I see you, which is Sunday. Blessing, Shada gang.